friends, family, enemies, everybody. Welcome back to the world as we see it. Okay? And there's a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting things going on in the world. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about how we see it. I want to talk about the President William Ruto of Kenya. I know last week we made a video about him, but he's been doing some things. I think we need to come back to him. You know, a lot of you may remember that right after this conflict started in Palestine, where the Zionist regime of Israel started bombing the innocent people of Palestine, President Ruto came out in defense of Israel. Shortly, you got to know, shortly after President Biden of the United States came in defense of Israel, it looks like President Ruto was testing the waters. Oh, well, Biden says this, so I'm going to say that. So he came out in defense of Israel. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but recently he has made a trip. This is before all this happened. He had a state visit to Israel, where he and Netanyahu were all chummy and lovey-dovey and all this sort of thing. You know? So he was right there with the colonizers. Right? This man, who's supposed to be a descendant of the Mau Mau, is with the colonizers. Go figure. But last week, there was a conference, an economic conference in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of folks were there, a lot of African countries, Arab countries and so on. And there's a lot of business going on. And a lot of contracts were signed. And William Ruto, realizing, hey, I need some of these contracts too, decided to do a flip-flop. Fellas, when I said I supported Israel, I misspoke. I was just joking. I was, don't take me serious. I'm really down with the Palestinians, I'm not down with terrorism, but I'm down with the Palestinians, right? I need some of these contracts too, right? So far, there hasn't been any contract signed with Kenya. A number of African countries have come out of that conference with some business deal. Kenya, not yet. Maybe they might be just let them sweat a little bit and then maybe give him throw a bone at him later. But it was funny that he just flip-flopped. It's like, no, I didn't mean Israel, right? The question is, President Ruto, were you lying then or are you lying now? Because we can't trust you. We don't know where you are. Are you on the Zionist side of the fence? Or you are on the progressive side of the fence? Are you with the rest of the world? Because I know when you made that comment, even the citizens of your own country were upset. I made a lot of comments about you making that comment, reminding you that you did not represent all Kenyans. You probably didn't even represent the majority of Kenyans, right? But you represented those Kenyans who like to, as we say down in Guyana and South America, like to hang your mouth where the soup is dropping, right? But when the soup starts dropping in Saudi Arabia, you decided to move your mouth over to that pipe and try to get some of it. Right? President Ruto, you need to get yourself together. In addition to that, we have some members of the Kenyan parliament who were upset with our friend Julius Malema from South Africa and the remarks that he made at the Pan-African Conference last week that was held in Kenya. And Brother Julius, he doesn't mince his words. He said what he said, and what he said was right on. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with it. No one can point to him lying. But some Kenyans were upset, saying, "Well, you can't come to our country and talk like that about our president." Well, maybe your president should act right. Maybe he should act right. Then nobody would talk about him like that. So now some members of parliament are saying they should be able to pass a bill banning Julius Malema from coming to Kenya. Well, I find this very strange because just about 2 weeks ago, President Ruto made an announcement, which I agree with him, that this time he and I were on the same fence, on the same side of the fence. He said that Africans from anywhere on the continent, and even those of us in the diaspora, will no longer need a visa to travel to Kenya by the end of this year. Well, last time I checked, Julius Malema is an African from right down the road there in South Africa. Are we saying that all Africans are welcome except for Brother Julius? Come now. Right? If you don't want Julius, I'm saying you don't want the rest of us. So you may want to check that. Right? So that's what's going on in Kenya. That's the world as we see it. We got a president who came out of the blocks when he first got elected. He came out of the blocks looking bright and shiny, saying doing some good things. And then all of a sudden he started exposing himself as the Western puppet that he appears to be. So,
which IGAD, under our chair, the president of Djibouti, is engaged in, we believe will unlock the challenges in Sudan, and your participation in this region will also give us the opportunity to also deal with the challenges that are going on between Israel and Palestine. We believe that terrorism cannot be an answer to any conflict. Neither is occupation. We believe that Palestine should be a free state, and we stand for a two-nation solution as a means of resolving the conflict in that region. And thank you.
Until next time, this is the world as we see it. Kwaheri, assalamu alaikum.